constructive swearing in of all witnesses, constructive sequestration of all witnesses with the exception of the defendant and all experts in this short case. And in addition, Your Honor, the parties have entered into a stipulated agreement as to a copy of the record we would like to provide you with one at this point.
Would you repeat that, sir?
The parties have entered into a stipulation that this is a true and accurate copy of the record, and we would like to provide the judge with a copy of the record for expediency of the trial. Permission to approach.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Your Honor, were the witnesses not being sequestered constructively? Was that denied?
That was denied.
Okay.
Your Honor, in addition, the defense also has two pretrial motions. Would you like to hear them one at a time or all at once? Your Honor, first, the defense has reason to believe that the state will call into question a FBI report comparing two ballistics sent to them. The defense has not been provided with that information pre-trial, and for that reason it's in violation of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, and therefore we would ask you to exclude all testimony regarding the FBI report and any findings thereof.
Your Honor, at this time we have no intention of using a report for which we are not able to recover. However, we ask that you stay this ruling to be able to place it in context during the criminal trial in order to be able to understand the issues involved with the testimony itself.
Well, let me ask counsel, has this report been provided to the defense?
No, Your Honor.
What do the federal rules require, the discovery rules require for such a report?
The federal rules would require disclosure for such a report. However, we do not have the report and have no intentions of submitting it as an exhibit. However, testimony regarding it may be necessary considering the context in which that testimony is offered. We ask that you reserve your ruling until that time.
Denied. Your defense motion is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor. For our second motion, eliminate, we have reason to believe that the state will elicit testimony regarding an MMPI test, Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, Your Honor. In that particular test, there's a validity scale. One of those scales is known as the L scale and has been commonly known as the Lie scale in psychiatric nomenclature. For that particular reason, we ask you to exclude the reference to the L scale as the Lie scale for reason of the fact that it is the probative value of the label of the name is substantially outweighed by the prejudice of assuming that the subject of the test was actually lying during the exam.
Your Honor, to preemptively exclude this testimony would be unfair to the jury when the L scale can be explained and placed into context by the expert and can help them understand the testimony for the MMPI tests that were used by the experts in today's case. As such, there's no reason, there is no unfair prejudicial value that could take place simply by the expert describing it by its psychiatric nomenclature.
Your Honor, I may be heard. The defense in no way suggests that the state cannot elicit testimony regarding the L scale or its level. However, we are merely asking that the label be properly made for that L scale and that the lying scale not be admitted in court here today. The state is perfectly able to examine the levels of the L scale and what the L scale happens to be. We are simply requesting that they not refer to it as the Lie scale in court here today.
What would you suggest that they call it, counsel?
The L scale.
What say you, counsel?
Your Honor, again, this is part of the scientific knowledge and is a name given to this scale by the psychiatric community. And indeed, it will help the jury understand exactly what these scores mean if they're able to use more layman's terms when it comes to describing those scores.
But in the MMPI manual, what is it called?
It is called the L scale, or it's been placed into context as being also
I'm
known
not
as.
asking about context, sir. I'm asking you, what is the test itself called in the MMPI manual?
We're not familiar with the manual of the MMPI test. However, we do have evidence regarding a treatise written about the MMPI in which it is called the L scale.
Thank you. I will remove it. Counsel, we just have one
That is correct, Your Honor. We're merely asking that the appropriate label be given to the scale.
And do you have any treatise or any other data that demonstrates that the official name of this scale or test is called the L scale?
Your Honor, I may proffer the treatise of Dr. Chris Johnson, a witness who will be testifying here today. And in that treatise, it does state that the L, K, and F scales reflect the validity of the given test. There you have heard no mention of a lie scale, and it further supports my argument that the lie scale has been a name or attached to that scale by the psychiatric community, and it has no relevance or cannot help the jury today.
So then I'm a little confused. So I want to be clear. Does the literature call it the different scales, validity scales, or lie indicators?
Your Honor, the literature, and if I may approach and provide you with a copy.
Yes, you may.
Oh, it's under Exhibit 7 under pretrial findings, Your Honor. If you look at the second full paragraph in the second column, it refers to the L, K, and F scales as validity scales. It has not given any particular label to any of those individual scales, and in totality, those scales are validity scales, not any individual scale.
Okay. You wish to be heard any further?
Yes, Your Honor. Again, as they are left unmarked in terms of just alphabetic names, giving it an actual name in which it tells the jury what the certain scale indicates to the psychiatrist would be helpful to the jury in making their determinations. In addition, the lie scale phrase, which may or may not have been coined by the defense's expert, is in fact used in the defense's expert's former testimony and was applied by the defense's expert.
Counsel, I hear your argument, but I think what I've heard from you is that the actual scale in the materials that you presented name the scales as L and the K scale, and nowhere in the official name does it say I. Therefore, I am granting you defense request. You may not, no expert or witness may describe this scale as the lie scale.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense has no further pretrial motions and ready to proceed to opening statements.
State is also ready to proceed now.
You may proceed, counsel.
Your Honor, with that, the state calls Leslie Stockard to the stand.
Your Honor.
Statements.